this evening, John Lennon arrived at the emergency room at the Roosevelt Hospital. He was dead at the time of his arrival.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the celebrity deaths that will send a chill down your spine.
Say, are you some kind of ghost? Boo.
Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Marianne Rafferty, live in Los Angeles. Legendary actor, two-time Oscar winner and author Gene Hackman and his wife have died.
This two-time Academy Award winner retired from acting in 2004, enjoying a long, quiet retirement out of the spotlight. Unfortunately, Hackman and his wife, classical pianist Arakawa, met their respective ends under tragic, deeply bizarre circumstances. Amid growing concerns that the revered actor was in declining health, Santa Fe police were called to the couple's home for a wellness check on February 26, 2025.
Just so shocking and heartbreaking, but investigators say it's unclear if Hackman knew that his wife of 30 years was dead for a week before he passed away. They say he was in an advanced stage of Alzheimer's, and it's possible he just didn't know. And some of what they said yesterday, just really as shocking as the revelation that Hackman and his wife died to begin with.
What they found was grim. Both Hackman and Arakawa had both died under different circumstances. The two had died weeks earlier, with Arakawa succumbing to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome and Hackman dying nearly a week later as a result of heart and kidney disease, as well as complications of Alzheimer's.
Autopsy examination and a full-body postmortem CT examination demonstrated no acute findings of internal or external trauma and showed severe heart disease, including multiple surgical procedures involving the heart, evidence of prior heart attacks, and severe changes of the kidneys due to chronic high blood pressure.
Phil Hartman.
Donald, do you actually think that I'm going to take this lying down?
Well, in Section 5, you did agree to, quote, take this lying down and, quote, let me walk all over you. And then, where is it? Oh, yeah, quote, thank me and ask for more.
This Canadian-born funny man was such an integral part of Saturday Night Live that his fellow cast members referred to him as glue, a testament to Hartman's ability to hold a sketch together. The comedian's marriage to model Brim Amdahl was a stark contrast to Hartman's consummate professionalism. Amdahl was reportedly envious of her husband's success and lashed out at his female friends, colleagues, and even his ex-wife for fear that they would steal him away. Brim's fears and paranoia culminated in her fatally shooting Hartman on May 28, 1998, before taking her own life.
Mr. Hartman had been dead for a while. He did not die at the same time that Mrs. Hartman apparently killed herself.
Distraught neighbors and friends of the couple say they had marital problems. One woman said she had feared that this would happen.
We don't have any information concerning that topic at this time. We're continuing. Robbery Homicide will conduct a very thorough investigation.
Brittany Murphy.
The 32-year-old actress died on Sunday from what officials say appear to be natural causes. An autopsy is planned reportedly against the wishes of her husband. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone has this report.
Detectives with the Los Angeles Police Department launched their investigation at Brittany Murphy's home as paparazzi camped outside.
Arguably best known for her role as the lovable Ty in the 1995 coming-of-age film Clueless, Murphy was beloved by generations of young people for her infectious charisma and proficiency in both comedy and drama. Murphy's sunny warmth is part of what made the circumstances of her death so chilling, as well as mysterious and hard to explain.
She was laying on the gurney. It looked like she had died, and they were putting tubes in her throat and trying to resuscitate her with paddles. And then her husband was here just wandering around and in his pajama bottoms, just looking completely dazed and shocked.
The actress, just 32, was found in full cardiac arrest and transported to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center.
Murphy died on December 20th, 2009, and a coroner's report attributed her passing to pneumonia, as well as severe anemia and presence of prescription drugs in her system. Her husband, Simon Monjak, died months later at the same residence, of the same causes, the following May. Murphy's father, Angelo Bertolotti, has repeatedly claimed that his daughter was deliberately poisoned in the years since her death.
I don't suspect anyone, actually. I do really, but I'd rather not speak about that. The question is, the fact is that she was poisoned and she was murdered, as far as I'm concerned.
Paul Walker.
The driver, Walker's friend, Roger Rodas, was a pro racer with championship titles to his name.
This is not his first time driving a car like that.
Right.
That's why I'm shocked. He's driven cars faster than this.
In a painful case of life imitating art, action star Walker's death seemed like something out of the Fast and Furious franchise that the actor was most famous for. While filming director James Wan's Furious 7, Walker was killed in a dramatic auto accident.
They pulled out of the parking lot slow.
Jim Torp spoke to both men just before they rode off. The crash happened in a business park just a few blocks away, minutes after they left.
What was the last thing you heard Paul say?
Hey, I'll be right back in 5 minutes. That was the last words I heard.
Following an event for Walker's charity, Reach Out Worldwide, the actor and his friend, financial planner Roger Rodas, went on a speedy joyride in Rodas's 2005 Porsche Carrera GT. Cruising through the Valencia neighborhood of Santa Clarita, California, Rodas vastly exceeded the speed limit and lost control of the vehicle. The two crashed into a concrete lamppost, and Rodas's car burst into flames, ending the pair's lives almost instantly.
And Walker is survived by a 15-year-old daughter, Meadow. This is that scene where he crashed and died. Robin, police now say that speed was a factor.
Aaliyah. The princess of R&B seemingly lived countless lives in her all-too-short 22 years. Her first album, the R. Kelly-produced Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, was released when Aaliyah was just 15, and soon went double platinum. Her second, One in a Million, sold over 8 million copies worldwide, more than establishing the 17-year-old as a bona fide superstar. At the peak of her career, Aaliyah died in the 2001 Marsh Harbor Cessna 402 crash, which killed all 9 people on board, including Luis Morales III, its pilot. A subsequent investigation revealed that Morales was unfit to fly the plane, having lied to obtain his FAA license by falsifying his flight hours. This was in addition to the presence of cocaine and alcohol in his blood.
The plane, just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer and actress.
Brandon Lee.
Police, don't move. I said don't move.
I thought the police always said freeze.
Well, I am the police. And I say don't move, Snow White. You move, you're dead.
And I say I'm dead. And I move.
Long before the tragic accident on the set of the film Rust that saw cinematographer Helena Hutchins' untimely death, there was the on-set mishap that claimed up-and-comer Brandon Lee's life. Lee, the son of late martial arts and film superstar Bruce Lee, starred in a number of films through the late 80s into the early 90s, which raised his profile and positioned him for a burgeoning career as a leading man in the movies.
He couldn't have stopped.
He was a butt face. I could have made it. What are you supposed to be, a clown or something?
Sometimes.
It's more like surfing and skating. I wish the rain would stop just once.
It can't rain all the time.
However, Lee's early success was cut short by a heart-rending accident during filming of the supernatural superhero flick, The Crow. A dummy bullet from an improperly loaded prop gun, fired by Lee's co-star Michael Massey, struck Lee in the abdomen, and Lee died later that day.
Good likeness.
I saw your body, man. You died. You got buried.
You still have your hat on.
Anton Yelchin.
Russian whiz kid. What's your name? Chenko? Cherpov?
Ensign Chekhov. Pavel Andreevich, sir.
Fine. Chekhov, Pavel Andreevich. Begin shipwide mission broadcast.
Yes, sir. Happy to. Ensign authorization code 95 Victor 2.
Authorization not recognized.
Yet another up-and-coming star whose rise was cut tragically short by a freak accident. Yelchin had made a name for himself in the Star Trek reboot films, appearing along the way in independent films, comedy, horror, and more. The circumstances of Yelchin's death are as heartbreaking as they are hard to stomach.
He was killed trapped between his SUV and his driveway gate, and it turns out his Jeep is one of hundreds of thousands included in a recall.
On June 19, 2016, the actor was found dead at his Studio City home, his body having been crushed by his Jeep Grand Cherokee. It would seem that Yelchin, having gone to check his mail, was pinned between the car and a gate post when the Jeep rolled back down the driveway. A wrongful death lawsuit filed by Yelchin's parents against Fiat Chrysler was settled out of court in 2018.
Drivers of the Jeep that was recalled and that Yelchin was driving have complained that they had trouble telling if the car was in park. Many reported the vehicles rolled off after the driver exited. Yelchin first received a safety recall notice in May and then another one that the company had to fix just days after his death in June.
John Lennon.
Imagine all the people.
He He gave the world some of its most iconic music and advocated for global peace at every chance possible. Lennon was a musical visionary, using his interstellar creativity and songwriting prowess to help elevate the Beatles to realms no one had ever thought possible for a pop group. Just as quickly as Lennon and the rest of the Fab Four had changed the world forever, he was gone.
This entire half hour will be devoted to the murder of John Lennon, ex-Beatle, one of the best-known musicians and most influential people of his time. As you heard Dr. Stephen Lynn at Roosevelt Hospital in New York City say, Lennon was shot and killed at about 11 o'clock last night outside his apartment building.
On the morning of December 8, 1980, Lennon signed Mark David Chapman's copy of the album, Double Fantasy, outside of the Dakota apartment complex. That evening, Chapman returned and fatally shot the former Beatle repeatedly. Lennon was pronounced DOA at the hospital.
Numerous resuscitative efforts were made after his arrival in the hospital, including transfusions, surgical procedures, other procedures, but in spite of the effort of many physicians and after many procedures, we were unable to restore the life of Mr. Lennon.
Marvin Gaye.
Soul singer Marvin Gaye, whose career spanned over 25 years, including the birth of the Motown sound to the 80s, was shot to death yesterday in Los Angeles. Dick Shoemaker reports.
69-year-old Marvin Gaye Sr. was taken to police headquarters in downtown Los Angeles last night after being booked on suspicion of murder in the death of his son.
One of the darkest moments in 20th century American music, the shooting death of R&B and soul pioneer Gaye, was most notable for its lurid, disturbing details. Gaye had long maintained a strained, uncomfortable relationship with his father, Marvin Sr. The animosity between the two had stemmed from the younger Gaye's troubled childhood.
Marvin Gaye was visiting his parents' home here in Los Angeles. There was a family argument. The singer was shot in the chest. A little while later, Marvin Gaye died.
Marvin Gaye Sr. armed himself with a handgun and fired several shots, wounding Marvin Gaye Jr.
It's worth noting, though, that Marvin Jr. struggled with paranoia, depression, and thoughts about ending his own life, which had been exacerbated by his heavy substance use. On April 1st, 1984, the father-son duo became embroiled in an argument, which escalated so drastically that it ended with Marvin Sr. shooting his son with a pistol that Marvin Jr. had given him.
Family and friends were shocked and wept openly in the wake of the killing, and a crowd gathered in front of the Gaye home. Police say the singer and his father started arguing over insurance matters Saturday night, resuming the argument Sunday. Marvin Gaye Sr. is expected to be arraigned sometime this week.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Sharon Tate. If you know anything about the Tate LaBianca murders, then you'll have a pretty good idea as to how they ended up in our video today. Tate, another up-and-coming Hollywood starlet, was on track for an A-list career, even being compared to Marilyn Monroe before her disturbing 1969 death. While staying at a Los Angeles home she shared with her spouse, filmmaker Roman Polanski, Tate was murdered by members of the deranged Manson family for reasons that remain unclear even to the present day. Even more tragic was the fact that Tate was carrying Polanski's unborn child and was 8.5 months pregnant. Which of these celebs do you miss the most? Are there any we missed? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.
He emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.